This week on the Spotlight, D. Rose is back in action, and I asked him a question or two. Also this week on the Spotlight, the Bears are winding down. That was probably the highlight of the day against Seattle. Do you remember this guy? He used to play for the Cubs, played for the Cardinals back in the day. And then finally we wrap up with a flashback. The Bulls and Phoenix in the finals. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago's sports teams are making news, this is the 23rd year of the Lansing Floral Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. Cobblestones Restaurant and Bar, 514 West Pershing, that's Pershing and Parnell, the place to go before, during, and after Sox games. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Open Sundays when the White Sox are home, and Friday night trivia when the Sox are on the road. Want to get a haircut from a great hairstylist? Call mine, Rose Murillo, 312-726-2201. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Be safe with Sureway Insurance Company, 3312 North Milwaukee. Call my friend Jean at 773-282-2022. She has the answers on your auto, home, business, life coverage, including SR22 coverage drivers. Call Sureway Insurance.
Hi, my name is Rose, and I've been a skilled hairstylist for over 10 years. I specialize in men's haircuts and in corrective color. Come visit me at Salon 203 at 203 North LaSalle, 312-726-2201. And while you're at it, come in and get a shoe shine and a shave. It's a great place where a man can be a man. Since 1967, El Jardín has been serving the finest Mexican food. Before, after, or during ball games, located conveniently just 3 blocks south of Wrigley Field, 3335 North Clark. Whether there's a game or not, you still get hungry, and El Jardín has great service, great food, and great drinks. I've enjoyed every meal I've had there, and you will too. So get to El Jardín for great Mexican food at 3335 North Clark Street in Chicago. You'll be glad you did. You know it's not your day when you try a field goal and there's a penalty for leverage, jumping on somebody's back, and then they get a touchdown out of it. To call it a bizarre first quarter would be an understatement. Johnny Knox getting carted off, that was not good. The Bears seemingly holding Seattle to a field goal, but then the rare penalty leverage, somebody jumping on somebody's back, leads to a touchdown. Then, maybe as weird as anything, catching Seattle in the end zone with a sack and a fumble to score a touchdown and pull out a tie game when the Bears didn't play that well is a borderline Christmas blessing. So we'll watch for Haney to go with an offense with some short passing, keeping ball control. Maybe for once could they throw the ball on first down. Still begging for that. We'll see what happens at halftime. The Bears take the lead when Khalil Bell sneaks out untouched and catches this touchdown pass. Yeah. And the Bears lead at halftime, and this beautiful feast you're looking at, prepared by the Jack's Kitchen specialists. And we're talking wings, but those don't look like wings that I know. Those are just meaty wings. They look like a quarter chicken or something. But anyway, let's find out the lucky man who made that order. Tell us your name and what you like about this place.
Yeah, my name is Stevan Bell. I like this place. I like Kathleen, the bartender. She's real nice, so I always come up to visit her and a couple of other staff up here. And we just come because it's a good place to relax, kick back, have a drink, and eat pretty easy going. So
And a little bit of a Bears fan, are you?
Oh yeah, I like the Bears. I'm a Red Sox fan, but football, I'm all Bears. Yeah.
We'll stay off that other thing.
yeah.
But as long as we're talking from a Chicago point of view, what did you see in the game that you liked today?
Caleb Haney actually threw a touchdown. I'm ecstatic.
Well, yeah, some would say shock. Yeah. But they designed a nice play for him. People cutting and running. And I also see he's keeping the ball and running a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks a little more relaxed. It took 3 losses to get him there, but that's okay. I mean, hopefully the Bears somebody else can lose and we can get a wild card.
Yeah, well, that's your thinking is just on the mark. They maybe come in at 9-7. I don't expect to beat Green Bay, although I see Kansas City is.
I'm hoping Green Bay comes to Chicago undefeated so we can be the first ones and knock them off the block. So I'm rooting for Green Bay today so they can come here and lose.
All right, well, this man's saying every right thing. If we follow his formula, that could be good. The Bears could end up at 10-6, and I guarantee a playoff spot if they win 10.
Caleb Haney needs to learn when to take a sack. Why he throws this, I don't know. But Seattle scores and never looked back, and the Bears never scored again.
To say the third quarter was all Seattle would be an understatement. Certainly making some halftime adjustments. They quickly came back and tied the game. Then, with the Bears on offense, and you're always thinking the Bears have a chance to score when they're on offense, Caleb Haney, who there have been jokes about his screen passing ability since he threw a pick off a screen try earlier this season, with an intense rush and no vision whatsoever, should have eaten the ball, but instead threw a screen pass that was picked off and run back for a touchdown. Seattle took the lead, then kicked the field goal to make it a 10-point lead. And there's very little positive one can say about this game. When the Bears have the ball on offense, they seem to lack urgency. And according to my stats, have only attempted a pass on first down once in this game. They've got to throw the ball. They've got to be unafraid of throwing it deeper and challenging the Seattle secondary. And until they do that, this game is going nowhere fast.
It was 24-14, and just to put it away, take that.
So a sad ending to this one and a gigantic dent in the playoff chances as the Bears fall to Seattle. Let's find out what my favorite crew at Jack's has to say about it. Jake, you first.
I really got nothing to say other than this was disappointing. The game started off good, but that's the name of the game. The Bears, second half, they last couple of weeks have fallen apart. I'm starting calling them the second half Bears. Surprisingly enough, they could still make the playoffs with the win at Green Bay and a win at Minnesota if the Lions lose. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks, but this one was very disappointing. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs now. I got really nothing else to say than they lost.
Speaking of optimistic, upbeat people, you're still smiling. What golden nugget do you see in all this?
I like how my friends have come in to see me, so I'm happy, and at least we got the Blackhawks on tonight, so I'm waiting for the Blackhawks game.
Yes, and there'll be Bulls, too.
Yes, and the Bulls. Good.
Well, that's a good way to look at it. Merry Christmas, you guys.
Merry Christmas to you too, Pat. Thanks.
TV Land, signing up from Jack's. The Bears season may have hit the skids, but there's still plenty to be thankful for. Maybe we'll show you some great and fun winning-oriented clips from days gone by when we return right after these important messages. Stay with us.
Since 1955, Rosangela's Pizza has been there for you at 95th and California, across from Little Company Mary Hospital. You can call them at 708-422-2041. Everything homemade, including the sauce. Great beef and meatball sandwiches, pasta, chicken, seafood, desserts. Dine in for lunch and dinner. Rosangela's, 95th and California. It's always the season for Riley's Trick Shop at 6442 West 111th in Worth. Or you can call them at 708-448-0075. Right now they have football strip cards, a wide selection of Halloween costumes and tricks and treats. And then for later in the year, Santa suits. So for all your needs, especially Halloween, Riley's Trick Shop on 111th Street. Nuevo Leon, for the best Mexican cuisine since 1962. Serving every day from 7 a.m. to midnight, conveniently located 1515 West 18th Street, just a block east of Ashland in Chicago. Of course, they have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and a wide range of menu items. Everything from steak, seafood, to breakfast, to chicken, pork, dine-in, carry-out, tacos, enchiladas, everything you can imagine, and great quality at Nuevo Leon, 1515 West 18th.
You've got to call Vince's Towing. If you need road service, flatbed service, or you want the highest price paid to you for a junk car, call 773-581-7647. They did a great job for me, and they'll do it for you. Call Vince's Towing, 773-581-7647. One of the things to look for in this new NBA campaign, because of its tight compression and the lack of days off, and sometimes 3 games in 3 days, will be conditioning. This is where the Bulls have excelled in the past. The Thibodeau era, if you want to call it that, along with Derrick Rose's great work ethic, should mean that this current Bulls crop will have an advantage for a couple of reasons. Not only are they supremely conditioned, and that is the way of the Bulls these days, but contending teams in, let's say, the 3rd consecutive day of games seem to have that extra gear. Teams that are not legit kind of maybe phone it in on those 3rd days. This is where the Bulls will have some advantages as well. And we'll talk to some of the support players who will be part of this key element. These are the players that will be relied upon on these tough stretches of consecutive games and compressed schedule games when they have to go to the 7th, 8th, and 9th players and get major production.
Questions?
What's been your favorite preseason moment?
Shoot. I'll tell you, it's going by quickly. That's for sure.
What do you do tonight? What's your agenda in terms of last one that doesn't count?
Well, you want to make the next step. The first game gives you your baseline. It shows you what you need to work on, and where you'd like to go. So we want to keep improving. You have to establish who you are, how you're going to play, get your rotation down. So we want to keep moving in that direction.
How will the compressed schedule affect your substitution pattern and how you approach your roster?
Well, we think having depth is a big plus for our team, but you still, you have to establish how many minutes your starters are going to play, how many minutes your bench will play, and then the game unfolds. An example of that was the first preseason game where Derrick picked up the 2 fouls, and CJ got some extended minutes, and our bench has shown every guy on the bench, when they've gotten extended minutes, they have performed well. So we have a lot of confidence in our bench.
Jimmy Butler surprised you in the first game?
He's been practicing like that, so it didn't surprise me. And again, there's a lot to learn, and this is the preseason, so it's just one step. So he's got to keep improving.
John, what are you hoping to see out of Rip tonight?
I'm sorry?
What are you looking for out of Rip tonight?
Well, again, it's not only Rip, it's the team. You're looking at how your team is functioning. So, I'd like to see us execute, take better care of the ball, play better defense, and rebound the ball better.
What was your assessment of Rip as an individual defender when he was with Detroit?
Well, I think when you look at those teams in Detroit, and certainly the championship teams and the conference final teams, they were extremely well balanced. They were not only very efficient and good offensively, they were terrific defensively. So I think he understands the importance of defense. He's a high energy guy, multiple effort. He has good size, and he's very smart. So he knows how to read things, and he certainly understands the tendencies of the players that he's going against. So that's a plus. Now he has to pick up the system and move along here.
For a new guy coming here to this organization now, which side is more difficult to master the concepts of, the offensive concepts or the defensive concepts?
Well, offense is more timing and spacing and precision, so it takes more time. and defensively, it's probably about the same. But again, I think what gives you timing and spacing is repetition, and the fact that he's been guarded, with teams trapping him, and he has seen every defense that you can imagine. So I think he knows where the holes in most defenses are, because anytime you have to commit onto the ball, you're taking something away, but you're also going to be vulnerable in another area, and I think he knows how to read that.
I know I asked your coach about this and would like to get your thoughts. The compressed schedule, with 3 games in a row and 4 and 6 days and a lot of that. How will that affect you and the way your team plays?
It shouldn't affect us at all. This is our job. We've been conditioning our body, ready for the season. There's no excuses while we're out there, so that's the reason why we've been practicing so hard.
Okay, that's good to hear that. And then the experiences from last year, and as deep as you went into the playoffs, tell me how you think that'll make you guys better, especially at the beginning of the year.
We didn't change anything. We got a few players, Jimmy and Rip, and with Jimmy, he's learning everything. Rip is definitely going to help us with his experience, and we should get things rolling like that. He's a vet. He's been in positions where we've never been in before, and he should help us.
You got a Christmas wish?
To win a championship.
That's good. We'll put that on.
Thank you.
Thanks. I knew that was going to be it.
Hell yeah.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Cobblestones is a great bar on Pershing with great food at Parnell. In fact, they're one of the top 100 bars in the city according to Chicago Magazine. Great pastas, salads, soups, and the great sandwich is the muffalata. So check it out. Great place to go when the White Sox play. I have trivia on Fridays when the White Sox aren't at home. So get to Cobblestones on 39th, and you'll be very glad you did. Come play in the area's classiest billiard center, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet Avenue in Munster, 2 blocks south of 8094. Selling the most famous names of pool tables and billiard equipment. Specializing in table recovery and moving of tables. A complete pro shop with the most brand names of cues and cases. Celebrating over 20 years, excellence, top billiard tables, the place where the action is, Jukebox Billiards, 7910 Calumet in Munster. But now it's time to talk Bulls and the NBA Finals. The Bulls and the Phoenix Suns, of course, squared off for the first game at Chicago Stadium. Remarkably close, tight throughout. Let's take you to some special highlights of that right now. Michael was his dominant self in the first quarter. He had 13 points, but so did Richard Dumas. They were tied at 29. Dan Marley started the long-range thing, and the Suns had a 1-point lead at halftime. Scottie Pippen, though, took over in the third quarter. He had 11, but the Bulls were still down by 1. In the fourth quarter, forgotten man Kevin Johnson en route to 62 minutes played. Strong. Jordan and company could not get the foul call. 9 free throws to 31 for the Suns. It was at least curious. In overtime, forgotten people off the Phoenix bench were clutch. 107 to the second OT. Dan Marley again from long range, tied at 114. In the third OT, it got away. Horace Grant had fouled out Stacey King to Charles Barkley, and the Suns take it. And the Bulls seemed shell-shocked.
Where does this game rank in terms of the emotions, the length, and the intensity?
Well,
at the bottom because we lost, but but overall, it was a very exciting game for the fans and for the people.
How about people selling Phoenix short after you guys won 2 games? Not you guys, but people outside.
People gonna have their own opinion about a team if they're down 2-0, but we knew Phoenix was gonna come in here and give us their best game.
Of course, their defensive blame the officials in this game, the free throws and everything. But can you talk about how maybe that affected how you attacked in overtime because you weren't taking inside much? Everybody with tired legs continued shooting jumpers.
Well, we had open shots outside, but you can't attack the officials for officiating the game. It was like. We fouled them and they put them on the line, point blank. They played some defense tonight. They double-teamed Michael, and on the offensive end, Dan Marley, KJ penetrated, and they did whatever it took to win.
Looking for the description from you, a single word to describe the disparity in free throw shooting.
I have no comment on it.
What do you expect their defensive game for now?
The same thing. They're going to come out and try to establish Charles in the post, and KJ is going to do a lot more penetrating. We just have to clog up the middle a little more.
They switched all 5 starters. They did all the defensive switches with their stars. That surprised you early?
I really didn't notice it, but whenever Michael got the ball, it was like 2 guys on him, and whenever he threw it out, it was a guy in the guy's face who had the ball. So, they played very good defense.
We felt like going into the overtime that we was going to really take the game over, but this Phoenix team played very hard, and they're a good road team.
Scotty, did their energy actually seem to pick up a little bit in that last overtime, or was it just a matter that you guys had given it out?
Well, I couldn't tell that from my point of view. I thought both teams, all the players were really coming out playing hard and trying to win the ball game. They just came out to win, and we did.
For those of us who came in late, could you re-describe your leg problems?
Well, I basically just started feeling cramps during the 4th quarter, and it just took its toll in overtime. That's pretty much it.
How about the emotions and intensity of this game? What are you going to tell your grandchildren about this game? Some people are calling it one of the great ones ever.
We just lost the ball game. There's nothing much to tell.
What was different about Phoenix tonight than in games 1 and 2?
Well, they made some adjustments. They came out and they pretty much played the same way. They played hard. They played to win, and they didn't play not to lose. I mean, they came out and did what they wanted to accomplish, and let's come here and get the first game.
Scotty, how confident are you that you can still win the remaining 2 home games?
We're very confident. I mean, it's just one ball game. We know that we didn't play well tonight. We didn't execute. Didn't shoot the ball well. We know once we make our adjustments and look at the film what we got to do.
The Bulls would go on to win that series in 6 on John Paxson's famous shot at Phoenix.
I eat on the pasta twice just...
Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria at Grand and Racine is the place to go before United Center Pavilion, Bulls, Hawks, Cubs, and Sox too. Dine in or carry out with great family recipes, including homemade pastas, steaks, seafood, a great fun bar area. Meet people, have a tremendous time. At Salerno's Restaurant and Pizzeria, Grand and Racine, you'll find a great variety of foods for you to enjoy at Salerno's. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Ulsan, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and the fabulous grade of cloth. Call 708-388-3700. That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski.
Lanigan's Irish Pub is the place to be at 3119 West 111th Street, right by Kedzie. Live music on Sunday with Fast Eddie. Drink specials daily, including $1.50 domestic bottles on Thursday, $3 Guinness on Tuesday. Call for karaoke information on Friday. Party room, too. All that available at Lanigan's Irish Pub, 3119 West 111th Street on the beautiful south side of Chicago. Get there, Lanigan's Irish Pub. Lindy's Chili, Gertie's Ice Cream at 110th and Kedzie has it all. From fresh-made burgers, fries, hot dogs, chicken, turkey, Polish, shrimp, tuna, barbecue, ham, tamales, quesadillas. They've got salads and plenty of ice cream with Sunday's banana splits and seasonal favorites. Get all these things at Lindy's Chili, which is where I start, but I always get a little something extra, at 110th and Kedzie. We're talking Cubs baseball in the dugout at Wrigley Field, and just, certainly it's been a tough time for your club, but you got to think brighter days are ahead, and people are healing, starting to come back, and your team has a lot of battle to it, doesn't it?
Oh, no doubt, man. It's a long season. A lot can happen in a short period of time, and guys are still excited to play and going out there and getting it done. So, we got a lot of ball game left and a lot of fight left in us for sure.
It's been an interesting couple of months for you. Talk about a little bit about how spring training wrapped up in April and then coming here.
Well, it was tough how it ended up, and I was really excited on how spring training went and the opportunity I was given. That's all you can do is ask for a chance, and I was given a chance, and I had a great time in spring training. It worked out to where I didn't make the club, but I'm here now, and obviously guys making decisions are going to do what's best for the Cubs, and that's all you can ask for. And even guys in the minor leagues, we want this team to win, and when we get up here, we want to contribute as well. So, for development and everything else, guys on there getting ready and to come up here to Chicago and win.
What is your pregame regimen like? Is it anything different than what I've been kind of watching in the last minutes here? Are there special rituals or any kind of certain things you do every day the same?
I found myself eating the same stuff. As far as rituals and stuff like that goes, I don't do too much of that. I'll go hit early in the cage a little bit, and maybe go in the weight room and stretch out before batting practice or whatnot. But I don't do anything quirky or weird before a game. No.
How about the fact that you have this bulk of day games? How much of an adjustment is that?
It's a little adjustment, but to tell you the truth, man, you're so excited when you get up here and you get that call. You're so excited where it doesn't even bother you, and especially when you're here, you don't even realize what time it is. I find myself waking up before my alarm clock goes off to get over here to the ballpark, man, because you're so excited, you want to help this team win, and sure it could wear on you a little bit, but I'm not to that point yet at all.
Well, you mentioned off camera being a Bears fan. Growing up, tell the folks at home where you grew up and what kind of baseball players you liked, if any particular team.
I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, so my favorite team was LSU. We didn't have a minor league team, and we would watch the Cubs because we had WGN. So I'd come home, watch the Cubs, and then we'd go to an LSU game. So, all those guys I thought were in the big leagues, and I grew up watching all those guys play in the early 90s, and late 80s at LSU when they were so dominant. And, so even guys that have come through, Ben McDonald, even Todd, I can remember when I was in high school watching Todd play, Russ Johnson. We had a ton of Lyle Mouton, a lot of guys that came through that was our big leagues, So it was either the Cubs or LSU, one of the two.
Were there any players in the majors you modeled yourself after? You said, I'd like to be like that. And in high school, a lot of people play different positions, pitcher, shortstop. How about yourself there?
Same thing. I was pitcher, shortstop. I loved Cal Ripken Jr., obviously Ryan Sandberg. He was one of the guys that I would have a chance to watch on TV.
That's about all the time we have for this week's show. Thanks very much for being with us. Happy holidays, and we will see you next week. This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. In-print graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound, saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing. Call 708-396-1010.